Ma'am, shall we start the program? Hello? Ma'am. நான் அதான் உங்களுக்கு தான் பேசிட்டு இருக்கேன். ஸ்டார்ட் பண்ணலாமான்னு கேட்டுட்டு இருக்கேன் மீட்டிங்ல. நீங்க ஆஃப் பண்ணுங்க. ஃபோனை கட் பண்ணிட்டு பதிலா வாங்க. Vasanthi ma'am.
Hello ma'am.
Shall we start?
Okay ma'am.
Okay. Michelle, are you there?
Good evening all the participants. Thanks for joining.
Ma'am, one second. Excuse me. Ma'am, one
Hello
second.
ma'am. Am I audible?
Ma'am, you are audible. We'll be giving an intro about you. Can you just wait? Our staff will introduce you. Michelle, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
You can start the program.
Okay.
Okay.
I now request everyone to mute your mic and switch off the video to avoid any kinds of inconvenience. Thank you. Hello everyone. A very good evening to one and all gathered here. I am Michelle, and on behalf of Ryan Publishers, CNR College of Professional Studies and IQAC, it's my greatest pleasure in welcoming you all to today's one-day international webinar on the topic, Empowering Women Through Domestic Violence Experiences. The participants can post your queries and clarifications in the chat box, and I would also like to inform you that the feedback form for today's webinar will be posted in the chat box at the end of the session. It's now time to get into the session, and joining with us today is Dr. R. Vasanthi and the organizing committee program convener, Mrs. K.J. Philomenal, Vice Principal, HOD of Commerce, CNR College of Professional Studies, Kochi, and organizing committee members, Mrs. Linda, Mrs. Sarasa, Mrs. Asha, and Mr. Joseph. Welcome, ma'am. Dr. R. Vasanthi.
Thank you ma'am. Thank you so much.
Dr. R. Vasanthi is currently working as an assistant professor of sociology, PMT College, Usilampatti, Madurai district. Our resource person, a highly qualified academician. She obtained her PhD from Madurai Kamaraj University, Madurai. Her areas of specialization include marginalized groups, environmental sociology, gender studies, and sociology of politics. Dr. R. Vasanthi has also taken training on Domestic Act Violence 2005 and the implementation of Protection of Women from Domestic Violence Act 2005. She has also served as RRC Program Officer and also conducted various trainings and workshops for RRC and YRC volunteers, such as curriculum training, plastic awareness campaign on hazardous effect and alternative to plastics, and celebrating life. She has also published various national and international papers and has also authored a book entitled Dalit Women in Politics. Dr. R. Vasanthi has served as a rapporteur at an ICSSR-sponsored national seminar, Periyar University, Salem, and she is also a member of the Indian Academic Researchers Association. The research person exhibits a keen level of interest in volunteering for social and humanitarian causes. We are extremely honored and delighted to have such an insightful person amidst us. Thank you very much, ma'am, for joining us today, and the session is now yours.
Thank you ma'am. Good evening all the participants. Thanks for joining. Empowering Women Through Domestic Violence Experiences. This topic contains two important concepts: empowering women and domestic violence. Empowering women means it can be defined as to promote women's sense of self-worth. Domestic violence means violence or abuse within the family atmosphere. So both these concepts are entirely different as well as much contradictory concepts. Let us wait and see how this webinar relates to both the contradictory concepts. This webinar has three important key points: overview of Domestic Violence Act, whom to approach to give a complaint under Domestic Violence Act, and how the domestic violence experiences makes the women empowered. Domestic violence is a human rights issue because this kind of social evil affects not only women living in the family but also the humanity of every society. Since ours is a patriarchal society, domestic violence is deep rooted in our Indian society. That's why it is very much harder to remove or prevent from our Indian society. Though there are so many legislations like Hindu Marriage Act, Hindu Succession Act, Hindu Adoption Act, and Hindu Women Right to Property Act, Dowry Prohibition Act 1961, and sexual harassment of women at workplace have been implemented for the welfare of women by our Indian Parliament. Still, women are forced to get exclusiveness both in the family as well as in the society. In the contemporary society, day by day, women are experiencing various kinds of violence, such as physical violence, sexual violence, verbal and emotional violence, and economic violence. To make an assessment of women's violence in the family atmosphere, it is very much difficult task due to lack of accurate statistics. Women are living in the primary institution and they need protection from all these kind of domestic violence. In order to get protection, most of the women are facing problems like into the family, like uncomfortable relations with the mother-in-law, daughters-in-law, limited interaction with children and the grandchildren. Before we getting into the topic, we have to clarify some concepts. Aggrieved person indicates under the Domestic Violence Act, aggrieved women. Aggrieved women means it's nothing but an affected woman by domestic violence who is or has been in a domestic relationship with the respondent. Then respondent means opponent person who has or had been in a domestic relationship with the aggrieved women. Domestic relationship is a relationship which indicates between two persons.
Ma'am, excuse me.
That means,
Ma'am,
aggrieved. No, ma'am.
can you please share your slide? Your slides are not visible.
Whose slide? I shared, ma'am.
No, it is not
Is it
visible.
not visible?
No.
Oh.
Only your face is visible.
Wait, ma'am.
Ma'am, kindly open the.
Ma'am, 1 minute, 1 minute.
Okay.
Now, is it visible, ma'am?
Ma'am, no, ma'am.
Hello?
No,
Not
it is
yet,
not
ma'am.
visible. Not yet.
Hello, ma'am?
Kindly go to.
Is it visible?
Not yet, ma'am.
Oh,
Visible, madam. Visible, madam.
visible.
Yeah, now it is
Yes,
visible.
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, madam. Yes, madam.
Okay.
Come on, please.
Okay.
Now it is okay.
Before getting into the topic, we have to make clarify some concepts. Aggrieved person means it indicates under the Act, aggrieved women, that means affected women by Domestic Violence Act, who is or has been in a domestic relationship with the respondent. Respondent means opponent party who has or had been in a domestic relationship with the aggrieved women. In domestic relationship, under the Act, domestic relationship indicates a relationship between two persons. That means aggrieved women and the respondent or respondents who live or have at any point of time lived together into the shared household. Then shared household means it is a household where the affected women lives or at any stage has lived in a domestic relationship with the respondent or his relatives. Then shelter home. It is a home aided by our state government and registered under the Domestic Violence Act. Under this act, it means short stay home when the aggrieved woman has no other place to reside. She can accommodate into the shelter home at free of cost to meet up with her basic amenities. In the meantime, the protection officer should file a domestic incident report mentioning that aggrieved women is staying into the shelter home. The domestic incident report. This is a main important one under the Domestic Violence Act. This, upon a receipt of a complaint, the protection officer has to register domestic incident report on the basis of the affected women's complaint in the prescribed format and filled in the concerned judicial magistrate court. In counseling is the main important concept. It really want to turn back the aggrieved women's lifestyle. This counseling session the court can decide the number of counseling sessions according to the desire of both the aggrieved person or aggrieved women and respondents. The counseling is an effective process under Domestic Violence Act for amicable settlement for the family issue. It has the opportunity for reunion as well as to make the economic independence of affected women. The counseling session only makes the aggrieved women's mindset to stand economically independently. Then overview of Protection of Women from Domestic Violence Act. The Protection of Domestic Violence Act, enacted in the Parliament of India for above the 18 plus age group who is affected or affecting by domestic violence. The main aim of the act is to make violence-free home everywhere. Domestic Violence Act is only for women who belongs to the particular age group. It provides several reliefs at a time. It provides financial assistance from their partners to all the age group of women. Domestic Violence Act is the only legislation which provides immediate and interim relief. Domestic violence means it is an act of the respondent which harms or injures or endangers the health, whether mental, physical, of the aggrieved person or tend to do so, which causes physical abuse, sexual abuse, verbal and emotional abuse, economic abuse also. Physical violence, this picture depicts the physical violence occurring in the family. It means any act which is as a nature as to cause bodily pain, harm or impair the health, the development of the aggrieved women, criminal intimidation and criminal force. Criminal intimidation means the criminal threat. By using threatening force, physical violence may occur. Then sexual violence. An act that abuses, humiliates, degrades or the dignity of women within the household. Humiliate means it makes someone feel ashamed. In this aspect, sexually, the respondent may sometimes makes the woman, makes his partner feel ashamed. Verbal and emotional abuse. It includes insults, ridicule, humiliation, name calling. Name calling means under the act, even nickname calling is also a crime. And insults or ridicule, especially with regard to not having a child or male child. The economic violence. Economic violence means it indicates the deprivation of all economic and financial resources for the partner. That means aggrieved women. This verbal and emotional violence, economic violence, physical violence is common to all the family. Then sexual violence, mostly it occurs when the husbands or partners are job-orientedly tend to foreign countries. The sexual violence may occur in the families. Then how to overcoming these kinds of abuse? There are 4 kinds of abusers. How to overcoming these abusers? Under the Domestic Violence Act, section under 18 gives the civil remedies like protection order. Then under section 19, it gives residential order. Then under section 20, gives maintenance order. That means the monetary benefit. Maintenance means monthly monetary benefit. Under section 21 indicates that custody order. Custody order means custody of the child. Then under section 22, it means compensation order. Compensation order means if both are not willing to live together, means they can agreed women can claim the compensation order for protection order, residential order, maintenance order, custody order, and compensation order. The court, if necessary, the court can issue an interim order under section 23 subsection 1, and the court can pass ex parte order when the respondent is not present all the court proceedings. The court can pass an ex parte order to the aggrieved women. Then, if the court passes the court order for the aggrieved women, respondent can go for an appeal. In appeal, he can go within 30 days from the order of the court. Then, who can file a complaint against women under Domestic Violence Act? Under the Act, an aggrieved woman can file a complaint against male or female member of the family who is or was living with her into the shared household. They may be once upon a time lived with her, may also complain against them. Then, Women Helpline Number, all India level Women Helpline. If women are in distress, she can contact all India level number 1091, state level domestic abuse number 181. In case of emergency, if she can call any nearby jurisdiction police, she can call 100. My slide is visible.
Yes, ma'am, it is visible.
Yeah, ma'am. Yeah, ma'am.
Wait, 1 minute, 1 minute. I think some mistake is there. Wait, please. Sorry, there is a mistake. Here I would like to point to that slide is visible.
No, ma'am, it's not.
Wait.
Oh.
Wait. It's not working.
Vasanthi,
Hi. What, ma'am?
you are visible in screen, Vasanthi.
Ma'am?
Vasanthi, I can see you in visible. You are in the screen.
Ma'am, oh,
We can see you. We can see you.
okay, ma'am. Slide, ma'am, my slide. Do you see my slide?
Slide is not visible, Vasanthi.
Wait, ma'am, 1 minute, ma'am. I tried to show my slide, ma'am.
Ma'am,
Okay.
it's okay, no problem. You can just proceed. At least you can present if it's not.
Okay. Sharing option is not visible, ma'am. The default.
Ma'am, it is not a problem. You can share your PPT to the organizers and they can share, ma'am.
Okay, ma'am. Ma'am, I shared PowerPoint in WhatsApp, ma'am.
Ma'am, kindly share through mail.
Shared, ma'am. I shared.
Share it through mail, ma'am. Not
Wait,
through
ma'am.
WhatsApp.
I think now it is visible, ma'am. Hello?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Ah, is it visible?
Yeah. Yeah. We can
Yes,
see.
ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, it's visible, ma'am.
Okay, ma'am. Okay, ma'am. They whom to approach to file a complaint. Yeah, an aggrieved woman can approach directly consult a judicial magistrate of jail court, and then she can approach protection officer of district social welfare office, then register service provider of an NGO. If in case of emergency, she can immediately approach local all-women police station. But local all-women police station, only protection officer of district social welfare office and a registered service provider can only file the domestic incident report. That means the complaint of aggrieved women should be filed in the court. The local all-women police station, if the women approach the local all-women police station, means they can only register the domestic incident report and they forwarded it to the district protection officer. Protection officer only can file the domestic incident report to the judicial magistrate court. Then, according to the Times of India report, domestic violence is a top crime against women. It affects totally the empowerment of women. I already told that empowerment of women is defined to promote women's sense of self-worth. Now I would like to share two case study of mine. Here A indicates the respondent. Let me decide his name Kumar. Then B is a complainant, petitioner. We can take her name as Suja. Kumar and Suja had an arranged marriage and they were husband and wife. Then Kumar completed B degree and working as a software engineer in Abu Dhabi, and B Suja has completed BCom degree and was a homemaker. Both were husband and wife. They were Suja had an arranged marriage. Then Suja's father was all the Streethan articles for her daughter. Kumar's parents are father was a retired government officer and his mother in a homemaker. They are living in Palaykote. Then, after marriage, Kumar came from United Arab Emirates to Chennai for his job. From the beginning itself, Kumar and Suja were settled with Kumar's brother's family as per Kumar's wish. After a week passed, Kumar and his brother's family was started abusing Suja. They ill-treated her for unnecessary things, and they don't even give the status of wife, Kumar's wife. Kumar was started giving importance to his brother's wife, who is a doctor. He always depends on her only for each and everything. Even if he wants to watch TV program, he himself and his Annie together sit and watch the program. By seeing all those things, Suja suffered mentally and psychologically. In the meantime, Suja got conceived, and after that, Kumar compelled to abort the baby. With all those struggles, Suja had got birth of a male child. After a baby born, Kumar's brother had sent an unhealthy words through WhatsApp messages and through mails. Suja's husband was doing everything under the guidance of his brother one day. She gave a complaint under Domestic Violence Act, and court directed for counseling. Both had so many counseling sessions. Suja only attended counseling. Then Kumar rejected to appear for counseling. Immediately, Suja, because of the counseling sessions, she mentally strengthened and she got on psychological insights. She wrote the competitive exams immediately, and she became an assistant manager of Indian Bank. And through court, Kumar has settled 30 lakhs compensation for his son. Now Suja is living with his son and became economically independent. This is my first case. This is a real incident which has happened in Palangote. Then case number 2. Case number 2. This is, we take C as a Ranjit and D as a Surekha. Both were close relatives, and an arranged marriage was solemnized by Hindu rites and rituals. Ranjit was a building contractor and leading in his business. At the time of marriage, Surekha's parents gifted her 75 sovereigns, ornaments, and 2.5 lakhs cash with street articles. Till the 6 months, their married life was peacefully, and in the first month itself she got conceived. In the 7th month of marriage, she went to her parental home for delivery. In the meantime, Ranjit had illicit relationship with a college-going girl who is nearby his house. In the meantime, Surekha got a birth of a male child. She returned to his home and asked about that matter. Ranjit strongly opposed. Days passed. Problem arose between both of them. Then Ranjit forced her to get out of the house with the child. Without taking anything, she returned her parental home. She approached protection officer. And filed a complaint. In the meantime, she has joined as a counselor through counseling. She became counselor in an NGO with just rupees 6,000 salary, and the petitioner was very happy to lead a life with her minimum salary. A few months passed, and because of her best performance of the work, she promoted in an NGO as a coordinator for rupees 11,000 high. She felt she became economically independent. She can get a confidence in her life that can overcome the economic inconsistency. Then she can overcome the economic problem and stand by her own to maintain her family. So this is the way a woman can get empowered even though they crossed through the domestic violence experiences. Make a violence-free home everywhere. Thank you.
Ma'am, thank you for the wonderful session. Participants, if you have any queries, you can post in the chat box, or you can unmute your mic and you can ask your queries. I think there are no more queries. I would like to thank Vasanthi ma'am for a wonderful presentation. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
And we would post the feedback form on the chat box, so participants can fill the feedback form to receive their certificates.
Thank you all the participants. Sorry for the interruptions.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Participants, kindly fill the feedback form.